Hello, hello, everyone. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. We are just starting with our session and we'll get started in a minute here. Thank you everyone for joining. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Just one moment here. Okay, we'll get started very soon. You should be able to see both the webinar chat and the Q&A. We won't be using the chat too much in this session, but you can keep an eye on it. We will be adding in knowledge base article links, things like that. And panelists will be able to add in all of the articles that we will be sharing, links to videos, everything like that. But feel free to say hello. We will get started in just a minute here. But for any questions, go ahead and put those in the Q&A. Our panelists will be answering the questions in the Q&A. Sometimes the chat can get a little crowded. So to get your questions answered during the session, just go ahead and type those into the little Q&A box you see there. Okay. And we can go ahead and get started. Okay, once again, questions go in the Q&A. Okay, and let's go ahead and begin. The session is being recorded, so if anyone needs to leave early, no problem. We'll be sending this recording out to everyone who has registered. And this is our session for beginners. So if you are new to MailerLite, you're just starting to set up your account, import subscribers, learn about setting up campaigns, all of that, this session is perfect for you. Or if you've been with us for a little bit and just want a refresher, that's all great. So let's go ahead and get started. Just a quick intro. My name is Harmony. I'm a customer education specialist here at MailerLite. I've been doing these webinars for a little bit and also working with our knowledge base and tutorials. So anything education related. So hopefully I can answer your questions and just help you have a better understanding of MailerLite and getting started with the account. And today I do have Alex with me. Alex is our video producer here at MailerLite, and we'll be co-hosting the session together. So I'll be hosting the first half of the session, and then Alex will be answering some of the questions in the Q&A while I am going through that. And then Alex will take over the second half, and I'll answer your questions. We also have Claudia here as a panelist answering questions in the background. Okay, and just to go over the agenda for today, we'll be talking about everything on a beginner basic level. So this is for those who are just starting out and just want an overview of all of these functions within MailerLite. So first thing will be subscribers. We'll be going into the app and showing a real demo of all of this. So I'll be showing importing and collecting subscribers. So how to import using a file, and then also different ways to collect subscribers. And then we'll be going into campaigns. And when we talk about campaigns, we'll talk about sending the one-off campaigns using the drag and drop editor, and then also automating. So using automation workflows in MailerLite and building a simple welcome flow. And lastly, we'll go over Q&A and resources, and this will be just sharing anything that can help, like knowledge-based articles, links to tutorials, everything like that. Okay, so just quickly, I wanted to talk about, before we jump into the demos themselves, the plan levels of MailerLite. Those of you joining this webinar, you might be in the free trial session with the 14 days when you first sign on, or you might be just past that and exploring the free plan, or you might have already upgraded. But when you do first sign up to MailerLite, you do get a 14-day free trial, and that gives you access to different premium features across the app. Otherwise, you can be on the free plan, which includes a lot to start with. You have the campaign builder, email automations, websites, landing pages. There's a limit of 10, which is still a good amount to get started. You also have all of the reporting features, so you can see all of your clicks and opens, all of that, and you can still create sign-up forms such as pop-ups. And then once you have your subscriber list growing and you want some more features and the ability to send to more subscribers, of course, then you get into the growing business and advanced plans. And that is where you get to have more features such as unlimited templates, auto resend campaigns, unlimited websites and landing pages, so you can create more than just the 10 limit. There's also more options um, to customize things such as the unsubscribe page, more testing options like multivariate, and the ability to add custom domains. So we'll talk a bit more about the custom domains. That's when you go into creating those websites and landing pages. And then advanced plans, then you have things like the AI features, more editors like the HTML editor, multi-trigger automations. I'll talk a bit more about that later. And then things like unlimited account users and monthly emails. So if you have a large team, you're sending to a large list, you might want to have more users on the account and then have unlimited emails, no limits there. Okay, let's go ahead and go into the overview now. This is where we'll be showing the live demo. So once again, I'll be showing subscribers. This is where contacts are managed. So I'll be showing how to import subscribers. Then I'll also show forms and landing pages. Then I will hand off to Alex and he will show campaigns. So creating emails, sending emails, and then setting up an email sequence. So first, talking about building your email list. So why it matters and why we're talking about this before we talk about how to do this. So building your email list, it's very important to remember good list hygiene, which is all about the importance of consent. When you are importing a list to MailerLite or adding subscribers in any way to MailerLite, whether that's through a form, importing, however, it is important to make sure those subscribers have given their consent to be emailed. So they have checked a box, they have signed up in some way, maybe purchased a product. However, it is they know that they are being added to that list. And that is very important for things like deliverability and avoiding spam filters. Because when you are sending emails to people who signed up to receive them, they're less likely to mark your emails as spam, less likely to unsubscribe, everything like that. So that is very important when you are importing or just adding any emails, any list to MailerLite. It is important that they have given their consent and that they know that they are being added to that list. Okay, and I will go ahead and jump over to the MailerLite app, and I will be showing importing subscribers, creating a sign-up form, as well as the basics of creating a landing page. So just one moment here. I will just go right into the app. Feel free to follow along if you also are just starting with the account. Okay, hopefully you should be able to see my screen there. Perfect. So first, let's go over to subscribers. This is the subscribers tab here. I won't be showing much of the dashboard itself. We'll be showing mainly the main areas here. So let's go right over into subscribers. This is where all of the emails in your account are going to be and where they'll be managed. So no matter how you imported or no matter how you added those subscribers to your list, this is where they will show. So whether they came in through an import, through a form, through an integration, they will all be here. By default, it shows the active subscribers. Active means they don't fall into any of these other categories. So they're not unsubscribed, the email hasn't bounced, nothing like a spam complaint, nothing like that. These are active subscribers that you can email. If they're not active subscribers, they cannot be emailed. They will still be shown in this area if we go to all. They will still be shown even if they are unsubscribed, anything like that. But active subscribers are those that can actually be sent emails. And then from there, we have the subcategories. So we have both segments and we have groups. Both of these are ways to create smaller lists of subscribers. So of course you have the large list here, but if you want to send emails to certain lists, certain groups, smaller amounts of subscribers, that is where you would use both segments and groups, which I will talk a little bit more about those. First, let's add subscribers through an import. So I will add subscribers using that button there. And there are several ways to import subscribers. I'll be using this option, importing from a CSV or TXT file, but you can also copy and paste from Excel like this. If you are quickly adding one subscriber and don't need to add a whole file, you can just use this option here. Quickly add email, name, a group if you like, add subscriber like that. We have an easy option to import from MailChimp if you're bringing over your contacts from there. This is an easy way to connect your account, so you don't have to, manually export and do it that way. And for any developers, we do have our API option, which you can see this is a link to our documentation with everything you need to know for importing using the API. But one of the easiest ways and most common ways to import is just using a file. So I will just drag over a CSV file that I have already. And you can see it has uploaded there and import. Okay, and here you can see it has pulled all the information that I did have on that file. So one of the first things I can do is add this list to a group if I want. So by default, of course, these emails will be added to my overall main list. But if I want to separate them, I can add them to a group that's already in my account, or I can create one like that. And that means those subscribers will end up in those groups or just one group if I wanted only that. Then I can match fields. So these are the columns that I had in my file. I had a column with first name, last name, email, etc. So now I have to match those fields with information that's already in MailerLite. So the first names, I want that to go into the name field in MailerLite. Last name can go into last name. Email is chosen by default, so I don't have to choose that. There might be information that I don't actually need. If I don't want to import any of this, I can just skip those columns. If I had other information such as country, phone number, anything like that, dates, I could add all of this and finish. This file in particular might have already been added. Yes, it has. So what this looks like is the file was imported. The subscribers were not added just because these addresses were already on this list in this account. So we don't add any duplicates. If there are any identical emails, they will not be added. But if they're not added for any reason, you will see here. So if a subscriber has a typo in their email, maybe any reason that they could not be uploaded into the account, it will say. Otherwise, it will show new subscribers here and then any that were just updated with new information. Okay, let's go back and just talk about groups and segments again. So first, I will talk about groups. And groups are used in many different areas of the app. When you import subscribers, when you add subscribers for setting up forms, lots of different things. And they are just smaller lists of subscribers. These are ways to make sure that you are sending targeted campaigns so that you are not always sending emails to everybody on your list, that you can actually send emails to these smaller lists. You can see this is the one that we just created. This is the one that I added that import. So when I imported those 19 subscribers, I said I want them to go into this group, and there they are. If I wanted to remove some people, I can do that. I can choose some subscribers, click actions, and I have the option to remove them from this group or any other group. I can also move them to a different group if I want to. And that is the main thing I want to point out with groups is it is very easy to move subscribers around, to easily take a list and import that entire list into a group. All of this can be done in a different way than it is with segments. So I can add subscribers to groups and remove them just as I showed. Whereas segments work a little bit differently. With segments, they are created using a specific rule. And let me show you. creating a segment here. And you can see it asks me to choose a filter. So this is the condition, the rule that will dictate who goes into this segment. So basically, I create something like, let's go with last emailed, subscribers emailed in the last, let's say, 10 days. Although I don't think that will work for this specific account. Let's go with campaigns was sent. And what I'm doing is I'm choosing a specific rule that I want to bring up a list of subscribers that meet this rule. Let's see, let's choose one that we have just done. Source is imported from file, let's say. There we go. So here you can see I chose the filter sign up source is imported from file. I could have chosen different sign up sources, different filters, lots of options of how to set this up. But you can see I chose this and then the list went down from 118 to now 79 subscribers that fit this rule, imported from file. So I did not have to manually add those subscribers in any way. I did not have to count to 79 or check who was imported. I created this rule and this list was made. And that is the main difference between between segments and groups. If there is a rule like this, it is a segment. And if there is not any type of certain rule or condition, then that is a group. It also means that if subscribers do suddenly meet that condition, they're added to the segment by default. So if I imported 20 more subscribers into this account, they would fit this condition and they would be added to that segment. In the same way, if a subscriber were to no longer meet the condition, in this case, not too possible, but if there was a condition, say for, they were sent a certain amount of campaigns, if that number changes, again, they are removed from the segment. So that is created automatically based on rules. And of course, you can make this as complex as you want. You can add more filters. You can do the and or, so you can have it where it goes with, it has to meet both conditions or one of the two conditions you set. Lots of different ways to manage this. Okay, that's basically all I'm going to be showing for this section here, the subscriber section. Next, I'll jump into forms. And now that we've gone over how to import subscribers and manage them as far as groups and segments, this is where you would go when you want to start collecting subscribers, especially if you are just starting out and you want to grow your list. Of course, if you just want to add forms to your sites, this is where you would go. So sign up forms are the best way to add subscribers to your list. And there's different ways that we can create forms: pop-up forms and embedded forms. Promotional forms are not necessarily for sign up, so I won't talk too much about that. Embedded forms is how it sounds. They are fixed, they're embedded to one area of the page of the site. It could be in the sidebar, it could be at the very bottom, but it doesn't move and you can't really get rid of it. It's just there. You can sign up if you want or ignore it otherwise. A pop-up, of course, is as it sounds. It does kind of show up at a certain time. And if someone wants to sign up, they enter their email. If not, they can exit out of it. So I'll be showing pop-ups. And first we go to create form. And let's give it a name. Pop-up is chosen there by default. Save and continue. And you can see here that it asks me to choose a group already. So what this means is this is the group or groups that a subscriber will go into if they use this form to sign up. So if I want them to go into multiple groups, I can do that. If not, I just choose one, or I could create a new group just for this form. But if a subscriber uses this form to sign up, they go into that group or any I choose. Continue. And there are different ways to create pop-ups. We have lots of templates, some that, gamify the pop-up itself, so you can do the spin the wheel option. We have templates that include these countdown timers. So we have these pre-made designs also by different, different ways that you can use them for an offer, lead generation, all of that. I will just do the start from scratch so you can see our basic sign-up form, our basic pop-up editor, which is here. So this is the basic design, and pretty much anything you see here can be edited, can be customized. So the fonts can all be edited. Of course, the text can be changed. You can use our AI suggestions if you have this in, this is for the advanced accounts. This allows you to just get, some suggestions from artificial intelligence, but you can, of course, add your text. This is the actual sign-up form itself. So we always want to collect their email. That's how they become a subscriber. But we also might want to collect other types of information. And you can see all I'm doing is just clicking into different sections to edit them. So if I want to edit this form field, I just click into that. And then I can add more fields. So let's say I want to also ask for their name. I might also want their birthday. I can change the order of things like that. And there you go. Using the elements, I can drag and drop different things. I can add images. I can add different buttons, videos. I can add countdown timers. You can really customize this as much as you want. Get rid of any blocks, rearrange any blocks like that. It's all using the drag and drop feature. Styling is all of the colors. So these can be your brand colors. So for CTAs, for headings, all of that. And then you also have the success area here. So this is what they see once they successfully submit the form. So they've added all of the information, they've clicked subscribe, and this is what they see. So this can just say, if you are sending them a newsletter, check your inbox. If there's anything specific you want them to see after they subscribe, you can add that here. Anything to let them know that the form worked and that they are now a subscriber. And this, of course, can also be customized in the exact same way. You can add more elements here, rearrange all of this. This is just the basic design. Anything can be previewed, so you can see here what it looks like both on desktop and mobile. And then when you are done editing, and this is what I meant by saying that pop-ups have specific behavior or a specific time that they show up. So it is not always there. This is where you can decide that behavior. So once you create the pop-up, you can choose when it shows. Maybe it shows after a certain amount of time when they're on the page. Maybe it shows when the person is on your site and they get to a certain point. You can decide how often it shows to the same person, when it shows, so does it activate immediately or start and end at a specific date and time? You can choose that too. And then the visibility is also important. So assuming that you don't want a pop-up showing on every page of your site, you can add the specific URLs of where you want the pop-up to hide or be shown. And speaking of that, of course, the main way that these pop-ups work is when they are actually on your site, which is done using the JavaScript snippet. So this is the part that I'm not showing because it is different depending on which site builder you're using. So if you have a website through WordPress, you can use, for example, we have an integration with WordPress that makes it very easy to install forms. Same thing with Shopify, same thing with all of the e-commerce platforms, BigCommerce, PrestaShop, any of those integrations, you can add forms very easily. If you're using something else, let's say Wix or Squarespace, other types of site builders, any site builder you can add JavaScript to. It will just be done different ways. So to add your forms to your website, you can copy the JavaScript code, add it to your site, however JavaScript is added, and it appears based on those settings. Otherwise, you can use the integrations we have, and then you don't have to worry about the code at all. You just do the integration and pop-ups are included as a part of that. So you can see here, I have the overview, which I can activate the pop-up. I can change the group, modify any of the behavior, and here's that code again. I can easily copy if I need to. And I'll also mention double opt-in. So double opt-in is going to be on by default for forms, but you can turn it off. It's not necessary, but it's recommended. All this is, it's a confirmation. So when they enter their email address, they will be sent a confirmation email that looks like this, but it can be edited. And they need to click on this link in order to become subscribers. And then they will see the thank you for um, becoming a subscriber. Until that is done, they will not technically be active subscribers. If they are, so let's say a subscriber submits the form that has double opt-in, they are sent the double opt-in email, but they do not click it, they don't confirm their address, they will go here in unconfirmed. So these are still subscribers that cannot be emailed because they have not confirmed their subscription. They can still do that. They can still click that link at any time and then they'll become active. But until they do, they are unconfirmed. So if you have a subscriber that has submitted a form, but you're not seeing them in your list, or they haven't activated the workflow that's connected, or you're not seeing that, the subscriber submission has gone through, it might be because your form has double opt-in and they did not confirm their email. So like I said, we do recommend having double opt-in on. It is just for security. That way your forms are more protected. That way the subscribers, when they enter their email, they enter the email that is active, that is reachable. So we do recommend using double opt-in, but again, you can remove it. And the last thing that I'll be talking about is landing pages. So landing pages are different from forms because landing pages are kind of just a one-page site themselves. So whereas forms can be added to a web page, just a one-page site. So we have both websites and landing pages, but I will just create the landing. And there are so many different ways to use landing pages. We have lots of templates, so if you need ideas, but first we choose a group, of course. So same idea as before. This is a group that subscribers will go into if they use this page to submit their information. Like I mentioned, lots of different ways to use landing pages. We do get a lot of questions on what landing pages can be used for or how they can be used for your business. And I do recommend, if you're not sure, to check out the template gallery because this has a lot of different designs for landing pages across lots of different industries. So depending on what you are working on, you can have a look here to see how landing pages can be used as examples. But I will just start from scratch so that you can see the basic editor, which looks like this. So nothing really there, just the empty canvas. And you create your page by adding elements or sections. Sections just being larger sections like this that include images, text, anything can be edited in the same way that pop-ups are. So you just click into a certain thing, a certain area, and start creating. You can add different elements such as, different buttons, social icons, styling again for adding the colors for all of the CTAs buttons. If you want to have a sign-up form, you can see that was one of the block options. So I just went into elements, sign-up form, and just drag over. This is the exact same thing as what was shown in the pop-up. You can add more fields. You can move everything around. Lots of different ways to customize this. Another thing is you can customize the mobile view itself. So we do have the option by default, you're working in the desktop editor, but if you want the mobile view to look different, it is optimized already. But if you want certain things to be in a different place or appear smaller, whatever that is, you can edit the mobile version independently. So certain things can be hidden on mobile and changed or added. So if you want, to have certain things only on the mobile version, that's also possible. And both can be previewed, just like that. I will click done editing, and this is also where we can talk a little bit about custom domains. So because a landing page is a site that can be published, it can have a domain. And by default, it's going to have this subscribe page domain that is the free domain. And that can be used for anyone, and you can customize just this end part here. But if you already own a domain yourself and you want this URL to look more like your company, like your brand, you can add different domains, but that does involve having a custom domain, which is a paid feature. So growing business plan or advanced plan for adding custom domains. SEO settings, we won't really go too much into that. Save and continue. And that is it. I will just publish so that you can see that these pages can be published like this. The URL will be right here in the overview. You can see we have also double opt-in again. And because this is now a published site, I can copy that URL, add it into my browser, and that page that I just created in a few seconds is already there. Okay, that is pretty much it from my part. Let me just go back to our presentation here. Okay, so that was a lot of information, hopefully not too much. But the next part of this session will be going more into campaigns, creating and sending your first campaign. And in this live demo, I'll hand it off to Alex, where he'll be showing creating a campaign by, the option to choose a template or start from scratch using the drag and drop editor, adding things like text, images, buttons, just how to customize all of that, adding personalization, so how to add the subscriber's name, for example, into the email, previewing and testing before you send it out, as well as what does it look like to send an email right away or schedule it later. And then Alex will also talk about automating welcome emails, which is instead of sending just one-off campaigns as it is, create it and send it, you can create a sequence of emails. So you can create multiple emails in advance, and that sequence is sent out to subscribers based on different things. If they join a group or they sign up through a specific form. Alex will talk about kind of the different ways you can enter an automation, but also a basic welcome automation is a good place to start. So when subscribers first sign up, they get sent an email right away just saying, welcome to my newsletter. Okay, and that is it. I will go ahead and let Alex take over. I think, can you already share? Let me stop sharing.
Yeah, let me take a look here. One moment.
And I will jump in to answer questions.
Thank you very much, Harmony. So everyone should be able to MailerLite dashboard at this time. And let me go ahead and clean up my area so I can see what I'm working with. Okay. So thank you very much, Harmony. And yeah, to take it off, we are going to go straight into campaigns. For anyone who doesn't know, campaigns are just another word for emails. This is what we use for content that you are sending out to your subscribers. So after you have added your subscribers, collected them with forms or through landing pages, now you get to engage with them. And how we do that is with campaigns. And there are a couple of ways that you can do that. One of those is right here on the dashboard. We have a green create button, and that'll let you create anything that we have in MailerLite. So that includes forms, sites, automations, or campaigns. We also have on the left sidebar the campaign tab, and that will take you over to your campaigns dashboard. So within here, we're immediately taken over to the sent tab. That's where we were last in this account. And you can see campaigns that were sent. You can see some highlighted data around that campaign and also view more detailed reports. In your outbox, if you have anything that has been scheduled, that's where these are going to appear. And then we also have drafts. And these are incompleted campaigns that you can hop back into and design and then send those out. To create a campaign from the campaign tab, this is how we will do it, just with this big green campaign button. And then you can select your campaign type. We have regular campaigns. So this is going to be your one-off emails that you send over to your subscribers. We have the A/B split campaign. That's going to let you send two email variations. So you can change one variable within each email. So maybe you're going to test out different subject lines or maybe a piece of different content and just see how the engagement changes from each email. And then that way that you'll be able to send out a get an email that gets higher engagement with your audience. RSS campaign is going to automatically send new content from your website or blog. And then an auto resend campaign will give subscribers a second chance to open your newsletter. This just means if you send out a campaign and then you have maybe like just a lower open rate, this will automatically resend to anyone who didn't open it that first time around to give them a second chance. And that's usually pretty good actually because reopens or resends sometimes get a larger open rate than the initial send for, various reasons. And then multivariate is similar to an A/B split, but you get to test multiple different variations rather than just one change. You can have multiple different changes between the two emails that get sent out. Multivariate and auto resend campaign are paid features on our plan, but you can test them out when you're on the free trial when you sign up for MailerLite. And for today, we're going to go ahead and get started with a regular campaign. All right, now when you get started, this is where you can enter in your campaign details. So campaign name is something that is just going to be internal. It's to help you organize the different campaigns that you send out to your audience. So for now, we're going to just call this one webinar demo campaign, and then you get to the subject line. This is probably one of the most important parts of how to get your emails opened. So you want to make sure that this is something that is relevant to the content and also relevant to whatever your audience wants to receive from you. We do have an AI assistant here. It's available on our paid plans, but if you are blanking on what to input, you can use that to help get some suggestions and then customize it from there. So for now, we're going to call this one welcome to our email list. And then we can even add a personalization. So if you want to add their name, you can click this drop down and then add that name field. Keep in mind, any personalizations, these are just details that you would need to collect when your subscribers sign up or later on as you interact with them in order to get these fields for your subscribers to customize them. Because this way you can have that subscriber's name appear if you collect that when they sign up. It'll like their name, even if you have thousands of subscribers, like each person's name will appear over there in that subject line. The pre-header, this is going to be where you can put in a brief description for what's going to be inside the email, something that's relevant to that content and that'll help to get your subscribers to want to open it up. So we're going to say that we have something. This is just a demo one. If to look up best practices, you might want to look into our guide that we have on using our drag and drop editor. Also, you can see here on the inbox preview, this is what the email is going to look like when your subscriber sees it. With the exception of this name tag, that's going to be their actual name. Then you go ahead and select your recipients. You can select all of your subscribers, or you can select a specific segment of your subscribers, or a specific group. And then you can as well exclude specific segments or groups. So say you want to select everyone except for maybe like your shop customers or anyone from this specific group or segment. Right now, we're just going to leave it at the default where we just select all and then go to select and then go to next content. All right, and this is going to be how we can design our email. Um, right now we're in the template gallery, so this is going to show you all the templates. We do recommend a lot of times getting started if you don't already have designs that you want to use. These are a good way to get started with a design that has been made professionally, and you can just customize it to match your brand and style. Or you can start from scratch with our editors. We have the drag and drop editor. That's one that we're going to be going through today. But we also have a rich text editor. This is how you can create emails using text. And then we have an HTML editor. So if you're an expert at using HTML and like doing custom script, then you can create your own emails with that. But for now, we are going to use our drag and drop editor just to get started, and you can see this pretty user-friendly interface. Alrighty, once our editor has loaded, then we will get started in here with just want to go over just a quick overview of what you can do. The drag and drop editor will load with this basic design. So this has our our header and our hero section and then a footer. And that's the basic like recipe, if you will, for creating an email. Here, obviously it says company, but you can change that to be your own logo if you have a logo for your brand. To change that, you would hover over it and then select this placeholder image. It says replace image. When you click onto that, it'll take you into the file manager. So within here, you can select any sort of images that you have uploaded for your email marketing. So right now, let's go ahead and just select this image and we'll insert it. You can see it's kind of small right now. So you want to hover over and then you can drag it to make it a little bit bigger. It's going to snap into place. And then you can just go from there. As well, same thing for here with this hero image. You just hover over it and then you can replace the image and place whatever image that you would like to place into that one. So you don't have a placeholder. To customize text within your email, all you need to do is click into a block. Pretty much anywhere you click into a block, you get this little cursor. So if you've used any sort of text editor in the past, this is how you would enter text. So just the exact same way that you would in a text editor or any sort of text formatting tool. When you put your cursor into the box to type in text, you will also see these text formatting options. So, you can like add HTML to a link. So if you wanted a text to become a URL, you can do so. You can customize HTML, you can customize the formatting. So if you want it to be a header or normal text or a subtitle, you can make text bold or italics, or you can underline it. You can, again, add like buttons or lists, URLs. You can turn your text into a link, change text color, um, like many, many, many different things. If you want to, you can also add custom or personalizations here. So if we say hello, and then you want to add their name to the email, like with content, you can do so. And we also have our AI assistant in here as well. So if you're not exactly sure what sort of content you want to send, but you know like the basic idea, you can click into that and then you can say we're typing in a short paragraph and we want to use a persuasive or natural tone. And you just say I want a welcome paragraph to my new subscribers. And then you can hit send, and that'll send the prompt out to the AI assistant, and it'll give back some text that you can then customize to match your voice. So there you go. And then you can further customize this to match your brand. Now, this is called our drag and drop editor. And the reason for that is because on this left sidebar, we have a lot of blocks that you can drag and drop into your content. So if you want to add like a digital signature or something, you just drag that block right in. If you want to add in further text or you want to add a divider of some kind, you can add in many, many different blocks to this email to customize how it looks exactly. So there's like quite a lot of options in here that you can add in. I mean, it's very extensive. If there's a specific block that you can't find because there are quite a lot, like you want to add a video, you can type in the search bar video, and then you can add that into your email. Same thing for like photo or um, like a form or something like that. If you want to add in different things like a survey, you can add a survey to your email as well. So we have a lot of different blocks. I think we've got dozens or hundreds of blocks available to use to customize these to make them exactly as you would like. If you're designing an email and then you do something that like, oh, I want to undo that, you can click onto this and you can go back through different steps. So we just added something we don't want to add, or we have something that we added a spacer and we don't want to add that spacer. We can use undo, or you can also just delete blocks. So when you hover over any block, you'll see these options up at the top here that allow you to like move it. You can click and drag it to move it, or you can move it up or down just one space. You can save blocks. So if you customize a block, you can click this little bookmark icon and that'll let you save it as a template. Saved blocks go into the save block space, and that's how you can add those back into your email. So you don't have to redesign specific blocks if you customize them. You can also delete blocks. So if you just want to remove it, then you can do so. We don't want to undo that right now. Under the Actions tab at the top, you can save this entire email as a template. So if you like what you've designed and you want to be able to use it again, you can save it as a template. Or if you really don't like anything that you've done, you can remove all the content blocks, but that specific action is not reversible. So if you do that, then this little button here will not save you. So be careful using that one. Under preview and test, this is where you can preview your email. So you can go into preview mode and that'll let you see what it looks like. We can preview this on like desktop view. Let me let this load. Okay, so preview this in like how it would look on a desktop, as well as how it might look on mobile. All of our designs are also responsive. And if you want to know what it looks like in your actual email inbox, you can send a test email. So when you click on that, send a test email, then you can send it to yourself. And then there's a little notification here. Test emails have limited features, and like things like unsubscribe, forward, and preference center links will not work on them because those are going to be specific to your um, for your subscribers. One thing as well, like this name tag is also going to show up as blank when you send it to yourself. That information pulls from your subscriber list, so that is also not going to show in when you test an email, send the test email. Alrighty, and then when you're finished with your design, you want to go ahead and hit done editing. We do have extensive knowledge base articles and a video guide on how to use our drag and drop editor. So definitely check that out if you want to learn more about how to get really in detailed with these designs. All right, so because this is a demo, we're not going to fill in the URL to our buttons, but if you hit done editing and you have empty buttons, then you're going to get this notification that tells you to add URLs to those just to make sure that you're sending out a complete email and everything is going to work when you get it sent out. So we really try to make this as simple as possible to make it so you can send out quality content to your subscribers. For now, we are going to continue anyway because this email is not going to be sent to anyone. And perhaps ironically, we are going to go to our review and schedule, which is how you send this email to anyone. First, in the review and schedule page, you can see your campaign details that you've entered. So you have our subject and the sender name, the reply to email, all those details that you had done on the beginning before design are going to be right over here. And you can also edit all of those, again, if you need to. You can send yourself a test email. You can go back and edit the content again. We didn't really customize this email, but normally when you apply everything to this email, you're going to get a preview image over here, but you can also click preview to see what you have, what you've entered. This is the same preview menu as when we were in the builder. And then below that, you can schedule your campaign. So we have send now. This is the same as just hitting the send button on any email that you would send through your email provider. So send now, instant send. Send later is going to schedule the campaign for later. That one is good if you want to schedule the campaign for like, just you have some, you don't want to send it right now, but maybe you want to send it like tonight or tomorrow or next week. That's where you would use send later. Um, Sending based on time zones. So this is like send later, but say you want this email to land at your subscriber's inbox at 9 a.m. their time, and you have subscribers all over the world. This is going to make sure that no matter where they are, they get it at 9 a.m. And then smart sending is going to analyze your past campaigns and then determine to send this when they're most likely to engage. And these last two features are both paid features, but you can again try them when you're on the free trial when you sign up. And for now, yeah, that about does it for campaigns. Next, I want to go ahead and go into automations because we are running up on our time here. But again, check out our tutorials and our knowledge base. We have a lot of content on how to use and design campaigns for you to check out. Now, when it comes to automations, these are how you automate your emails and engagement with your audience. So if you're getting thousands of people signing up, you don't want to have to send out thousands of welcome emails. You want to be able to design one email and then have that automatically go out for you so that you can focus on sending out valuable and engaging content to your audience. To create an automation, you can, again, go to this create button and create an automation, but let's go ahead and go over to our automations tab. Alrighty, and then here you can see your workflows. Well, your automations are going to be split into two boxes, workflows and drafts. So workflows, it's another word for automations, and then these are either going to show as active or inactive. When you want to, you can edit workflows that are active. You just have to deactivate them before you can do so. When you go to drafts, you can view automations that are incomplete or you haven't finished yet. And then to create one, if you're in here, you can click Create New Automation. Of course, when you are in the Workflows tab, you can also click New Automation. So for now, we're just going to click onto New Automation, and then once you're in here, there are a few different couple of options. You can start from scratch, or the same as with our email campaigns, we have templates available as well. So you can use a template for a welcome email. You can do win-back campaigns, new promotions, retargeting campaigns. There is quite a lot that we have here available for you. One thing to keep in mind, these automations are all named according to what they do, and naming is a big part of staying organized in email marketing. So how you name your campaigns, how you name your automations, you want to make sure that you're organizing them and naming them appropriately, because your future self will thank you. All right, and for now, we're going to click Start from Scratch, because this is how we can get familiar with the automation builder. Let's go ahead and give it a name and then start building. Alrighty, so from here, it's going to look a little bit familiar once we get to the part where we can go over our blocks. But first, I want to go over automation triggers. Triggers are essentially what triggers or starts the automation, and you need to set up the trigger before you do anything else. Usually, the most common that we have is joins a group. When a subscriber joins a group, and we have a knowledge base article that goes over what all of these options do, what they are, and how you could use them. For simplicity's sake, we're going to do when subscriber joins a group because this is the most common, and it activates when a subscriber is added to a group. And oftentimes when someone submits a form, usually within that form settings, you'll have them added to a group once they hit submit. So like say you have a newsletter group. When someone signs up to your form, they get added to that newsletter group, and then that's how you'd be able to use this trigger. So you select which group. Let's go ahead and select our newsletter group, and then hit save. Alrighty. We're going to do two emails in this automation, but now you can see over here we have a lot of different steps. These are, you could think of them kind of like our blocks. You can click and drag these into your automation to build out your automation. The first thing that we want to do to create a very simple welcome automation, we're going to build a 2 email automation here. It's going to be the most simple one you've ever seen. But to do that, the first thing you want to do when someone signs up to your list is send them an email, but you don't want to do it manually. So here we are. You can click and drag it in to the builder. You can also hit this plus button. That's going to give a little check, like green outline box, and then you can just add it over there. It'll show you where you can add that thing. And now when you add the block in on the right sidebar that popped up, this is going to be your campaign details. So these are going to be exactly like what we had in our campaign builder. So we're going to call this one our webinar automation email one, and then enter your subject line. Welcome to our newsletter, dear subscriber, and then pre-header. And then design the email. So again, these are the same campaign details that we had went over just in the campaigns tutorial just a minute ago. So right now, we are not going to actually go through a big design. I'm just going through and selecting a template for the design because this is the same as with our campaign builder. But again, when you're actually doing this, you want to design your email and make sure it matches your branding, your language, all of that. You want it to be in line with, yeah, with your company. So again, we're going to go ahead and just go straight to done editing. And then hit save. Alrighty, so you might assume that the next step is to send another email because this is a 2-email welcome automation, but we're going to use a delay step because if we don't add a delay step and you have a 2-email automation, then both of those emails will go out at the same time. So we've clicked and dragged in a delay step. We're going to make it for, say, 3 days, but you can change this as well. You can say any number of minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, or specific time of day. You can get pretty granular with your delay step, but for now, we'll leave it at 3 days. And then we'll hit save. This way, when the email goes out, they have 3 days to open it and take a look at the content before the next email is going to be sent. So let's go ahead and drag in our next email block. And you'll see anywhere that you can add this block will show up as a little box. We don't want this to be our first email. We already have that, but we can drag it down. But say you design this email and then you want to move it around, you can later on just like drag it and move it to a different place in the builder. So that is an option. If you put it somewhere where it probably shouldn't go, then you will get a little box if it's an incomplete step or something like that. Then it'll warn you that something needs to get paid attention to on that step. So for now, let's go ahead and fill out our campaign details. Webinar automation email 2. And then design email. Again, we're just going to go through and select the template and get back to our automation builder. All right, we are not going to fill in our URLs at the moment. Alrighty, so now we've got our automation basically built out. If you learn that you have a step that you, again, want to put somewhere else, you can click and drag it somewhere and then place it there. Or if it's not, again, you can also cut and paste. So you can cut and then paste it. You can duplicate steps, and there are like hundreds, if not thousands of like just an innumerable amount of customizations and options you can do with our automation builder. We do have a knowledge base that goes over different steps for how to use our builder, and then we are working on a new video tutorial that goes over the steps as well. We go pretty in depth with that. But yeah, this is a very high level. When you're just sending out a basic welcome sequence, I think something simple is good. And if you want to like have an easier start and you don't want to build out all this yourself, but you do want to know how to customize it, you should have an idea now for how to do that. And you can start with a template or um, many different options. Once you are all done with your automation, all you're going to do is hit activate, and that is going to start it. And then we will be off to the races. So for anyone who joins the group newsletter, then this will trigger and activate for them on your behalf. So that'll do it for now for our automation builder. We're going to hit the X because we don't want to start this automation, and I will pass it back over to Harmony.
Great. Thanks, Alex. Okay, we are basically done. Thank you, everyone who um, has joined us for the session. And yeah, we hit the hour mark, hopefully not too much overwhelming information. I'll just say some next steps we recommend with all this info. You can now, do things like create your first email campaign, set up a basic automation, or try to create and install a sign-up form. We will send out this recording of the session to everyone who has registered, but just because everyone is here, I will send out a couple of links in the chat. So we do have our knowledge base, which you can see the link I've added there. That gives you access to all of our knowledge base articles, and these are our video tutorials. We also have the MailerLite Academy, which is great for more in-depth learning. If you do want to look at our courses, that link is there. I can see Claudia added our community link, which is great. That is kind of like a Facebook group, not held on Facebook, but it's similar to that, where you sign up and you can interact with other MailerLite clients. And then, of course, customer support. There are different ways to contact support depending on your plan level, which you can see there. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. It looks like we have answered a lot of questions during the session and we are over our hour, so I won't, looks like there's not too many other questions. Anyway, we've answered a lot, so thank you again, and we will send out the recording and more information very soon. Hopefully we will see you in one of our next sessions. Thank you again. Bye, everyone.